Hi, everybody. This is Rhoda, and welcome to our podcast. Today, I have a very special guest. Her name is Michelle Ekret, and she has been hand making masks and donating them. And I've seen some of them on social media, and I thought it was pretty amazing. So I invited her here today to just talk a little bit about what she's been doing and also to share and kind of demonstrate how she did it for anybody out there who would like to give it a go and try to make masks themselves. How are you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing good. I'm staying at home, sheltering at home.
How has that been going for you?
It's fine, except I'm a very social person, so being at home and right now it's just my daughter and I because my husband is an essential worker, so I'm used to talking to people, and she only wants to talk to her mom so much. So
I hear you. And what do you do?
I work for the Milpitas Unified School District at the district office. I'm the senior administrative secretary, and I support the assistant superintendent, Norma Rodriguez, of learning and development.
Okay,
So
all right.
I've been doing a lot of things ending this school year and preparing for next school year from home.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of work. And
It's
so,
more than it was going to be, yeah.
yes. And so you've been hand making these masks in between, working from home and being with your family. How have you been able to squeeze the time in to do that?
Um, I get up early in the morning, and technically my work hours are 8 to 5. So before 8 o'clock, I'm trying to either cut fabric, sew fabric, prepping to get it ready. I have to take breaks, mainly because of my home office situation is not as ergo friendly. So I have to get up and move around every once in a while. And then during my lunchtime, because I get an hour lunch, but when you're at home, lunch is right there. So I don't really take that long to eat. So I spend the rest of the time sewing. And then after dinner, usually I'm sewing some more. And weekend.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And so you're keeping your regular hours that you had when you were working
Pretty much.
person. Whoa, that's pretty amazing. That's great.
Every once in a while, there might be a lag with communication with my boss, trying to get direction because we're doing all this virtually.
Right.
Um, Finding out some things that I need to do, but pretty much I'm given a list of things to do, and I work on them during the day as much as I can.
And how has it been for you, like that transition from switching to working virtually?
Um, the first 2 weeks I thought were the hardest, and like I said, I'm social, so the first week or two, my husband would come home from work, and I'd be chatterbox because I hadn't talked to anybody, and so it's gotten a little bit better. We've been doing some virtual meetings, Google Hangouts, with some of my coworkers, just kind of doing some planning and catching up. So that's kind of nice, and it helps me a little bit. It's different because I can't just walk into my boss's office and ask a question.
Right.
So that part's probably the part that's the hardest. And then also worrying about everybody, people that I work with and I know, and with everything that's going on in the world right now, it just kind of it's a little stressful in some ways.
I hear you. And what was it that inspired you to start making the masks?
Honestly, is the news. you know just when I started, even before we were supposed to stay home, just watching the news, and then after, when I was at home, I'm watching it more, um hearing about healthcare workers that don't have the right masks, the N95s and so forth. And I was on Facebook, and I ended up kind of coming across a group. It's called Million Mask Challenge, creating masks for healthcare and caregivers. And it's a public group, They have over 5,000 people across the United States that are part of this group. And what I end up finding is people sharing all these different patterns and different ways that they were making masks. And so I ended up taking probably about 3 different patterns that I kind of like and adapted it into one that I'm using. I initially started making them with elastic,
Okay.
but across the United States, people can't find elastic anymore. It's been used up making masks, and you can't run to the store and get it either. You can't order it from Joann Fabrics. You can't order it on Amazon. It's all out of stock because people have been making masks. So now I make them with ties, fabric ties.
Oh, nice. So you take the actual fabric itself and just make that into a tie? Oh.
Yeah, that's what most of them are. And then I came across from someone else's post that they were using twill, what's called twill tape. And that's what this is here. So I don't have to cut fabric. It's because it doesn't unravel. So I started using this, but right now I have some on back order. I only have a little bit of this left. So what I'm using is just cutting straps of fabric, and then end up making them into straps. So
Wow.
I can show that process. It's a longer, it takes me longer to do it. Once I found out about the twill, it sped up making masks quite a bit.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, since you've started talking about it, why don't we just sort of jump into maybe you demonstrating how you do this? 'Cause
Okay.
for somebody like me who doesn't sew, it's like something that I look at and I'm like, wow, that would be really neat to know how to do. So,
Mhm.
would somebody like me be able to pick this up?
Probably. It
Okay.
takes a little practice, especially if you have to make the fabric straps.
Okay.
But basically, all it is a piece of rectangle fabric that's 16. I do 16 by 8, and so it's a piece of fabric like this. And then on each end, what I've done is a double fold. So I take my iron, and these are about 3/4 of an inch
Okay.
fold it over once and iron it, fold it a second time. And I do that on both ends. Then I take it, put them together and press them just to make, so I have a press line at the bottom. Okay.
Okay.
And put these two together. Once that's done, I have to mark the fabric, because what I do is I take it in 2 inches and put a mark. Then I do 1 more inch and I mark it, and I do it on the other side also.
And how are you marking it?
I have a white pencil on this fabric.
Oh, okay.
On lighter fabrics, I do have a ink pen that will disappear with a iron.
Okay.
But it really doesn't matter what you're marking it with, because you won't see this part of the fabric anyway.
Ah, okay.
Uh, the reason for the marks is, and I know you can't see it too well here, but you should be able to see the marks, is I'm sewing all the way to the first mark.
Okay.
Then I kind of stitch to lock it in, and then I stitch up to the top, and I back stitch all the way back down. Then I go all the way to the second mark and do a back stitch. And then I come over and I do the other side. And the reason for that is I've created a pocket right
Ah,
here.
okay.
And what I use are pipe cleaners. Now, this one is not the cut to the right side. I have this one as a size for a child. But they're 4 inches. I do 4-inch pipe cleaners, and then I kind of curl the ends so that it's not pointy.
Okay.
With the pocket, I insert the pipe cleaner, and sometimes you have to bend it just a little bit just to kind of get it in there. And then once it's in there, okay, you can't see it, but the reason for the pocket is so that you can remove the pipe cleaner when you wash the mask.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And the
Okay.
wire, the pipe cleaner is in there so that when you put it on your nose, you can form it around your nose, and then it stays.
Ah, okay.
But I wanted a pocket so people could remove it. So when they have to wash the mask.
Okay.
So after that's done, I take the fabric with the pipe cleaner in there, and I kind of match it up, and then I fold it up accordion style. And then this is a different color fabric, but this is so here's the pocket up here. This has the wire right in here. That's the
Okay.
pocket. I've matched it up. I usually just put a pin right here just to hold it together. And then I do 3 pleats and do it on each side. And I hold it with pins. I don't know if you can see that very
I can
well.
see it. Yeah. Okay.
So once this is done, then it's ready. I'm ready to sew the straps.
Okay.
So the way I do that, and I cut the straps of fabric to about 38 inches. That's for an adult. If I kind of have to guess if it's for a child. And I just find the center part of the strip so I know where to place it on the fabric.
I see.
So this is one that I've placed, and you're going to have the back side of the fabric facing towards you so that the right side, the correct side, is down.
Mm.
And then I'm just stitching across, gradually taking out those pins, like you saw that we're holding the pleats, like this one right here.
Okay.
So when I'm sewing it, I'm taking out the pleats, and all I'm doing is sewing it across.
Okay. Can I ask?
Because,
It might be a ridiculous question, but just so I can get it. Wait, what's the point of the pleats?
the pleats are so that when you put the mask on, so here's one that's finished. This is actually my mask. So when you put it on and you got your little nose thing,
Okay.
it's to be able to pull it under your chin. So when you tie it on,
Oh, I see. Okay.
you can do it without the pleats, but then it's going to feel really tight around your face.
Okay.
So you can see the pleats on this one, but when I put it on, the pleats aren't there. They're
You
just
don't
on
see
the.
them. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I see.
So after sewing this on, I end up making the straps. So this is the other side.
Okay.
You can see all that. This is the harder part. And it does take a little bit of time to finish this part, because once you have this sewn on, then, and let me move my iPad so if you want to see me actually sew it.
Okay.
I'll see if you can see this. Is I'm taking this end of fabric here and just kind of folding it over a little bit so the end won't fray. And then what you're doing is you're folding in the end to the middle, taking the other end to the middle, and then you fold them together.
Okay.
If you can see that one, okay.
I can see that.
So that is my end of my strap. So after I sew it, it looks more like this, and you don't see the end of the fabric and it won't fray.
Oh,
This
I
is the
see.
part that takes a little bit longer because you put it in the machine. And then while I'm sewing, I have to keep kind of folding this fabric. I don't know if you can see this or not.
Yeah, I can see.
And then folding it over again, because what you want is that cut part of the fabric to be folded on the inside, because if it's not, it's going to fray. And then
Wow.
sewing it. And I can show you what happens when I get to the end where the actual mask is. Again, it's just folding it. And like with the other twill, it goes faster because I don't need to do this part. Okay, now I'm getting closer to that mask. Keep folding it. So then what I'm doing, I had to flip the mask over so that I have the fabric here, kind of fold it over. This way I'm folding that piece of strap so it
Mhm.
covers this frayed fabric right here. This
Okay.
way it won't fray when you go to wash it or wear it too often. And it's kind of like creating its own little pocket.
Ah,
And
okay.
then I'm coming out to the other end of the strap. And I have to do this all along. I've already done the other side. And I just keep sewing till I'm to the end. But a lot, like I said, I started out with the elastic that I had on hand, and then just can't get it anymore. And then I found
I'm
out how
sure
to
that
make
was a lot
that.
easier.
Yeah, so then at the end, again, I'm folding that end in
Okay.
and doing the fold to the middle and
Okay.
fold to the middle. So I can do my very final stitch to show when I'm at the very end. And then this mask is complete. So now it has straps on both sides.
Wow, nice. Wow, and how long does it take you from start to finish to make one of those?
Well, it helps if I do a lot of prep first, like pre-cutting of the fabric, pre-cutting the ties, and then I can just kind of do an assembly line after that. Um, I'd say at least 30 minutes once I have it
Oh,
cut to do it. And the other thing I didn't mention is when I made these all have a pocket right here.
okay.
It opens up. This allows whoever has this mask to add another barrier inside. So if it, and this one shows it probably a little bit better. Um, Healthcare workers, they can actually add, if they have HEPA filters, they add those in there. I've read online, you can put coffee filters, you
I read
can,
that.
the different things you want. You have to be careful. You want to make sure it's breathable.
Hmm.
But right now, the way this is made is you have a barrier of two pieces of cotton fabric, and they do recommend 100% cotton. But then you have the option of putting another barrier inside, which is
I see.
removable. So when you're
Nice.
wearing,
Okay.
so
And they're easy to wash, right?
they're easy to wash. Sometimes the straps could get caught up in things, and you can just do a little tie, like that, so it doesn't get caught up in your wash. But otherwise, they're very easy to wash. Um, Someone had made a post on Nextdoor here in Milpitas. He was going to make them out of bed sheets, and
Oh.
it's actually not recommended to do bed sheets. It's not a tight enough weave, and
Mhm.
some of them aren't 100% cotton. So I had posted on there, just what the recommendation was, and I even posted a tutorial that I had made. And then I was contacted by someone I didn't know. Her name's Nikki, and she works in a dental office in Milpitas. I don't know which one. And she said their dental office has run out of masks, and they were using the same paper masks over and over again. And
Ah,
they're technically closed except for emergency dental work, she said. So she wanted to pay me to make a couple, and I told her I'm not going to take any money. Um, I won't take money from anyone that's in the healthcare field at all. And so I made her two so she could have one and wash one. And she swung by and picked it up 2 days later and was very, very
oh,
happy.
that's so great. Wait, and can
So,
you also tell us the other places that you've given the masks to?
so I've given them to her, Kaiser Santa Clara Hospital, ER nurse. My mother lives in Fremont in an independent living senior facility, which is now under lockdown. And so I was going to make a mask for her. And then I started hearing on the news about a lot of the nursing homes and places not having the right gear. So I made 10 masks. So when I dropped off a mask for her, I gave the lady at the front desk 10 masks. And that one kind of got me because she started tearing up and said that, she said, we've been wearing these masks because they have them on back order and they're just a little paper mask and everything. So she was very excited that she got it. And they didn't ask for them. I just thought I'd take them to them. I've given them to them. I've offered all my coworkers I'd make one for them, and two of my coworkers, their husbands work in the food industry. One works at Costco and one works at a grocery store, so I made their husbands one so that they could have them also. What ended up happening, though, is once they'd made the recommendation here in the Bay Area about wearing a mask outdoors whenever you go, now I'm getting lots of people asking for them. So because of the demand and the time and the materials, I am charging some people for the masks just to cover my cost, especially since I started using the twill, which makes it go faster, but I've had to order it and it's not that cheap. But anyone that's in the healthcare, whatever, I've been just giving those free.
That's amazing. And so you estimate you've probably made about 60 to 70 masks so far?
I've only done 60 or 70. It's kind of like if I had more time, I could make more, but I also have a job that I'm doing from home. So
yeah, that's a
I kind of
lot.
have the balance. My husband and my daughter kind of help a little bit. My daughter has helped iron some of them and do the little iron at the end. My husband has helped cut some of the fabric. They're not quite as fast as I am, but it helps.
It helps, right? Yeah.
I've made different fabric. Some of them, all this is fabric that I had at home. This is nothing.
That was going to be my next question. You just have that fabric?
Well, several weeks ago, I would have been called a fabric hoarder. Now I'm someone with resources.
Wow.
So yes, I have a lot of I do make quilts. I do a lot of sewing and quilts.
Nice.
And I do have quite a bit of an assortment of fabric. I have some of these masks. I don't know if you're going to be able to see them or not, that I've made.
Oh, yeah.
Different fabrics. I have more florals than anything, but I started trying to make some that were a little bit more masculine. Had some baseball fabric.
Oh, nice.
Stars and stripes, and then some with more of a solid color. So the ones with the fabric twill, this one is made with the fabric twill. I didn't have to sew all the way along here. All I had to do was fold it over the edge so that the piece of fabric doesn't fray. I don't have to sew this. I just sew the very ends. That's why I said the fabric twill saves me a lot of time. I can make a whole lot more with this. So I'm working with what I have right now, and I have it back ordered from Amazon. I think it's supposed to come next week, and then I'll be able to do more.
That is amazing. And can I ask, how much are you charging non-medical workers for the masks?
Right now I'm charging, if it's out of fabric, like that I've already made usually it's my excess fabric, I'm only charging $2.
Oh, wow.
$5 if they're asking for something specific, like if they wanted a purple one, or they wanted one with Minnie Mouse. I don't have too many of the character ones, but I do have some. But if they wanted some with Minnie Mouse, then I'm doing $5 per. Now I know that's nowhere near what they're being charged on Etsy, and which I'm not doing this for a profit. I'm just doing it to recoup some of my costs.
Right.
And right now I have, and I have another friend, she works at Randall Elementary. Her cousin works in a doctor's office. And so she just yesterday picked up 5 masks for her cousin to take to the doctor's office. And I didn't charge her because it's for healthcare.
Right, right.
So I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, that's so great.
And I know Santa Clara Hospital, and I believe the Kaiser in Hospital in Fremont also, they're asking for masks too. So it's just, the time involved making them.
And you've already given some to the Kaiser, right?
Yeah, I did about 30 already.
Okay.
And then what ended up happening is, like I said, I started getting requests, and it was mainly for family members at first, and then it was some coworkers, and now it's kind of extended because some people saw, because I posted pictures on Facebook of them, the ones I
Yeah,
made.
that's how I learned about it. I was like, wow, this is so neat. And they're so fashionable.
I think they're neat, and it was fun to make them. And I posted them when I took them to the senior place where my mom lives and everything. So then I started getting some instant messaging.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. I can't, how long have you been doing this? Like 2 weeks now?
It's been about 2.5 weeks, probably.
Okay.
I wanted to make them, and then I found but at first I didn't have anyone to send them to. And I found the group on Facebook, and they have healthcare hospitals from all over the United States that put in requests. And plus they have all different patterns, and people are showing different things, and everyone's very helpful. But then I found out from a friend, a local friend, that someone that went to Milpitas High School is an ER nurse at Santa Clara Kaiser. And I made 30. She came and picked them up, and I told her to let me know if she needs more. And about 4 or 5 days later, she said they could always use more. So I
Wow.
haven't quite got to start making theirs, but that's my next goal.
Wow. Well, you're really making an impact. I'm sure it means so much to each person who receives one of these.
Thank you.
Um, Thank you. And I know you sent me also a PDF of the
Yes.
tutorial, and it's okay if I share that with everyone too, right?
I don't care who sees it. The only thing that changed in the tutorial that I started doing that is not in the tutorial is originally on the fabric. I folded it just once,
Okay.
but then I didn't want the fabric to fray, so now I'm folding it twice.
Okay.
So the edge of the raw fabric is folded under, and then when you sew it, it doesn't fray.
Oh, got it.
All else that's in that tutorial is what I'm doing now. To me right now, I know this is just a pattern that works well for me, but I know there's a lot of different patterns out there, different ways to make them. And I posted it on Facebook. I don't care who has it, because if someone wants to start making them, whether it's for themselves, their family, or if they want to make them for first responders and caregivers, then that's great.
Thank you so much. I'm tempted to try.
It won't hurt you. It just takes a little practice. When you start out, it's slow, and then you get going, and you could get it. Anybody
All
can.
right. All right. I might give it a try. If not, you might be hearing from me.
Uh-oh.
Might be buying one from you.
No problem.
But I really appreciate all of your time and talking to me today. Is there anything else you wanted to share before we go?
The only thing is I want people to know, these aren't medical grade, but they are a barrier. And, like I said, there's a pocket where you can add another barrier. And right now we need everybody to either stay home, or we need them when they go out to wear a mask. The mask does not protect you. It protects others in case you have the virus and you don't have any symptoms, and you happen to cough, sneeze, breathe heavy near another person, even though we're supposed to be 6 feet away. The masks are to help protect others, not necessarily yourself. But we all got to do our part.
Thank you so much for that.
You're
All right.
welcome.
Take care, Michelle. And
Thank
thank
you.
you everyone for listening and for watching.